Hi everyone, this is OCD Live with Emily Greymond. Today I wanted to talk to you about cheating OCD. Cheating OCD is a type of OCD where you are constantly worried that you are cheating, or maybe you're worried that your partner's cheating. So either way, it usually the main symptoms of cheating OCD would be worrying. What if what if something happened, or what if something is going to happen, or what if my partner did something, or what if my partner is going to do something. And most of the time it goes the compulsions are going over the situation in the mind, or physical compulsions of checking something. Either way it's checking, so mental checking or physical checking, or also getting reassurance. That's a big thing with cheating OCD as well. So if you have cheating OCD, it is very, very important for you to first know that you are not alone. A lot of people experience cheating OCD. I can't tell you how common it is, honestly. It's a very, very common type of OCD, and it also interlaces with false memory OCD a lot of the time, where the person would think that maybe something happened in the past and worrying about the situation again and again. So if you are experiencing this, you are not alone. This is just OCD thoughts. They can have, a lot of the time, cheating OCD also comes with images, or like the person is not sure if the situation is true or not, or the person is not sure that what if they would cheat in the future, so they're worrying about, it's either about the past or about the future. And sometimes, say for example, if um, the person kind of finds somebody attractive, they will start to stay away from that person, and they do it basically to make sure that they don't cheat, right? Um, or for example, if their partner finds somebody attractive, or they think that the partner finds somebody attractive, they will make sure that the partner stays away from this person. And the difference between cheating OCD and just regular intrusive thoughts that everybody gets, because when you're in a relationship, everybody kind of at least a few times worries, well, say for example, my wife is talking to a good-looking guy, oh, that's not good, or my husband's talking to a pretty girl, that's not good. So that's a common thought, but when you start to obsess about it on a very kind of massive scale, going over the situation, or again, like I said, like worrying about something, what if something happened in the past, and trying to analyze it to see if it actually happened or not, or worrying about something happening in the future, and again, spending a lot of time analyzing it, then it starts to enter the OCD category. Because the difference between regular thoughts, intrusive thoughts, OCD thoughts is just a progression on how you're feeling. So at first it starts as a regular thought. And for people who don't have OCD and don't develop OCD, it doesn't go that far. They still get the thought, they still kind of worry for a second, but they don't cross that line into like a high level of anxiety and high level of obsession. Then from that, it goes to an intrusive thought. So if the person does cross that line and starts to get really worked up about the situation, then it goes to more of an obsession. And then from there, it can develop into full OCD if the person doesn't stop. Because every time you're paying attention to the situation, it's like you're saying, yes, this thought is true, please send me more of this same thought. And as you say that again and again and again in your mind, as you go over it again and again, you start to develop a pattern. And your mind recognizes that pattern of thinking about the situation, and it starts to follow it. So just like I said yesterday, and I know I'm repeating myself a lot here, but I think that it's important to discuss each type of OCD theme. So if you are dealing with this, you know what to do. And if you're not dealing with this particular theme, you still can get a lot of information from it, because honestly, it doesn't really particularly matter in the big scale what the thoughts exactly are. It just matters how you're handling them. So even though I'm talking about cheating OCD, you can apply these same techniques to your own type of OCD as well. Also, if you have a question, even if it has nothing to do with today's topic, please ask in the chat window or email me to info@youhaveocd.com and I will answer them. Just label it, please, if you want me to answer online, like on the air, or you want me to answer privately. So just so I don't get confused. Anyways, let's get back to cheating OCD. So just like I gave the example yesterday with going into the forest. You go into the forest, you see a bear. The bear scares you, you run away. Then next time you go into the forest, everything is going to look like the bear to you, because the mind is going to be actively sending you that thought again and again and again, trying to protect you from the situation. So just like this, if you react once that, oh, what if I cheated, or what if I'm about to cheat, or what if my partner's cheating, or what if my partner's about to cheat, and you take it seriously, your mind is going to send you that thought again. And then if you take that second thought seriously, and the third thought, and the fourth thought, you start to develop an obsession. So it's very important to refuse to take it seriously. And I know that in the moment it feels very scary, because you feel, especially, either way, that you feel like if you think you cheated, or you're about to cheat, or your partner, or worrying about your partner doing the same, you feel like basically your life as you know it will be over or drastically changed if this turns out to be true. And that's a paralyzing fear for a lot of people, especially with the cheating OCD. And there's no really way to fix it other than to say, I'm just choosing not to pay attention to it. And that's how you fix the OCD. There's no way to fix the anxiety, is what I mean. In the moment, you're going to get that anxiety. It comes naturally, because that's, to people in serious relationships, that's the worst thing that can happen to them, is something like that happening, right? So if they experience that, they get very kind of emotionally, they're emotionally dependent on the person. And if something happens, then it's very much monumental. So they worry about it, but you can't let it get to that level. You have to go through it saying, if this happens, then I will deal with it. If I have concrete proof that like I cheated, or my partner's cheated, or cheating, or whatever, then I will deal with the situation. But I'm not gonna live in the land of what if for my entire life with this, because you have to understand that, I've talked to a lot of people. I talk to people pretty much every day. Weekends I talk to people. During the day, I usually have about at least 3 sessions a day. So that's about 3 hours a day, including weekends. And some days a lot more than that. So, and I can tell you that cheating OCD is extremely common, and you're not alone in this. And not once have I seen it come true. With all the people that I've talked about with cheating OCD, not once has it been true. So you taking that chance and acting as if it's not true and moving on with your life is not really even taking a chance, because there's nothing there. You are just, all it is, you're just obsessed about this specific situation. And just because you have cheating OCD right now, it doesn't mean that you will have cheating OCD forever. Say, for example, your situation changes, right? And obviously, we don't want it to change, but say, for example, something happens to their relationship, or God forbid, something happens to your partner. You're not going to lose OCD unless you beat it, So if your situation changes, then your OCD will just go to a different topic. So it can become from, say, for example, from cheating OCD, it can go to a relationship OCD with somebody else. So not necessarily relationship in the sense of like boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife, but even like family relationships or children relationships. You will worry, well, what if they maybe like usually goes to something else where there's an emotional involvement. So for example, you, instead of worrying what if you cheat on your partner, you might worry, well, what if they don't love me, or what if they don't care about me? So there's like a kind of like a continuation where it's similar but not exactly the same, right? So I'm just saying to you that you won't be able to get over cheating OCD by doing compulsions and figuring the thoughts out. Oh, is the person cheating on me, or am I cheating? It's not going to solve your long-term situation. The only way to solve the situation is to not play the game. And then as you, because when you're in that moment and you get that thought, oh, you know, I'm doubting this and this situation, or say I don't remember what happened, or I didn't see my partner and my partner didn't call on time. I don't know what happened. All of these types of thoughts, when you're getting them, they feel like they're really true in the moment. But as you're going through the situation without the emotional involvement, you will see that it wasn't actually true, you know? So it's just going through it like that, and making the changes as you need to make the changes, you know, in the moment, refusing to pay attention to the thought, you know. And as you get emotionally detached from it, you will see, oh, there's nothing here. There is no issue. There's nothing going on. But you need to get emotionally detached from it first, because that is the main reason why the person with OCD starts to worry about the thought, and the person without OCD like logically sees it, there's nothing here. Why are you even worried? You know, you probably hear this all the time. Most people with OCD hear this all the time, that, you know, there's nothing to worry about here. Why are you even focusing on this? The reason why they see it and you don't is because you are looking at it through a highly emotional perspective, and you need to refocus away from this situation, so then you can go back to it, or maybe not even go back to it, hopefully, but even if you do go back to it, you won't be so highly emotionally charged, and you'll see it for what it really is. Just like right now, if you have an OCD obsession, no matter what type of thought it is, could be cheating, could be not cheating, doesn't matter. Look at your past thoughts. They don't even seem logical, probably. But in the moment, you thought for sure they're true, or very likely they're true. But now that the emotions attached to these thoughts are no longer there, you see, oh, you know what, it's actually not true, it's actually not a big deal. So it's getting emotionally detached from the thought, moving away from the thought, and then you will see for what it really is, and going through it moment after moment. And what you're going to start to see is, as you are doing these things, you're going to see that the thoughts are getting lighter, they're not affecting you as much, and they're switching very, very quickly. So, and that's a very good sign. I know it seems like, oh, I'm getting more thoughts, it's a bad thing, but it's actually a good thing, because it shows you that the mind is not able to stick to one particular topic for a long time. And that just gives you it shows you that it's losing power over you. And whatever OCD is losing, you yourself, your soul, you are gaining. So it's losing power over you, and you are gaining your power back. And you can use that power to fight OCD even more. So just like when you start out having OCD and you get that first thought and you react to it, and then you react to the second, and it starts to get worse and worse, like a snowball effect, where the more you roll the snowball, the bigger it becomes. You can unroll it the same way, where the more you refuse to pay attention to it, the more power you get, and the more better you're able to handle the next thought. And it just goes like that over and over and over again. So getting that power back and using it to fight OCD, this is a real battle. And actually, it's a real war. And this war has many, many battles. And every day you're facing a battle. So you can, and these thoughts are coming into your mind. You have no control over them. The feelings that come with the thoughts, the feelings of guilt and shame and uncertainty, and feeling like you're living a false life, and feeling like a fraud, and all of these things that, you know, first of all, every person with OCD experiences this. I hear this on every theme all day long. I'm telling you, these are just auto-generated feelings by your mind, giving you the illusion that the thought is true, because you've convinced your mind that the thought is true. Just like, again, going back to the simple example of going into the forest and seeing the bear. When you go back into the forest, there is no bear, but you're feeling like you're about to die anyway. And you feel like that shrub that's, kind of looks like a bear is about to, jump and kill you. So the feelings are false. And it's a very simple sentence, but it means so much to so many people, because that's where people falter, is they think that, the feelings are true, and why am I getting these feelings? And if I'm getting the feelings, then it means something is true and all of this, but they're false. The feelings are false, the thought is false. And you know this on a logical level, you know this because you've gotten feelings and thoughts about your, like, in previous situations, and none of that turned out to be true. So if that didn't turn out to be true and it felt just as real in the moment, this means this is exactly the same thing. So you have to treat it all the same way. And as you start to treat it all the same way, you will really feel the difference. You will start to feel that these thoughts are losing their power over you. And don't worry if you get more thoughts per day, as long as they're moving really fast. This is part of the recovery, and they'll start to go to give you less and less and less anxiety, until they will be like a whisper and you won't even notice them. So if they're switching, that is a good thing. Ideally, they should be switching very quickly, because when one thought switches with another thought, it means that it's lost its power over you, and your brain is finding a new one to try to protect you, basically from a different shrub or a different bear, just like in the analogy, right? So maybe this shrub is not a bear, but what about that one? That is exactly the same thing it's trying to do. Or maybe there's no cheating here, but what if there's cheating there? But it's a good thing, because it shows you that it didn't have that holding power to keep you in its grasp with that first thought that it sent you, with the first situation. So it gave you another one. So that's good. And try to really cut down how much you react to them. So right in the moment when you get that thought, say, I'm choosing not to pay attention to it. This is my same theme over and over again with the cheating. I'm not paying any more attention to it. I'm moving on. And going through it like this, that it doesn't matter what it tells you, and if I find out it's true, then I'm going to deal with it. But until that day, until somebody actually says to me that I cheated, or that my partner has cheated, until that day happens, I am not going to pay attention to it. I choose to not pay attention to it. You don't have to have proof. You just choose not to pay attention to it. Your only proof that you need is that you've already gone through this situation a million times. So, and that's all the proof you really need. And if this is your first situation, if you just got this obsession, then the good thing about that is, even though you don't have previous experience of dealing with cheating OCD, it's not that ingrained, because it's still very fresh. So just don't pay attention anymore to it, no matter what consequences it gives you, no matter what it tells you. It doesn't matter. Move on from it, and kind of, it's like a leap of faith, that you kind of have to trust me on this now. And I have a lot of experience. I've experienced OCD myself. I've gotten over it. I've helped so many people get over it. Trust me when I say you need to let go of these thoughts, and as you stop paying attention to it, you will see, I promise you, you will see that these thoughts are false. But you do have to go through it and take that step before you see it, because you need to emotionally detach. If you keep rehashing it in your mind, going over it again and again and again, you won't be able to emotionally detach. You might be able to solve it, but it's like solving it is not good, because solving it is the same thing as like the example in the woods, right? That you ran away from the bear, and then you went back into the woods again. You saw a shrub, thought it was a bear, it wasn't, thought it was a bear, ran away. So now the third time you go into the woods, your mind is going to be like, wow, there's bears everywhere. Because you ran away from the bear twice now. One that was real, and then one that wasn't real, right? So this is the same with OCD, that if you run away every time, or like you try to solve the thought every time you get a thought, it's just making it more and more relevant in your mind, and it's going to give you more of these thoughts as you go on. And it doesn't matter, again, what type of OCD you have. We're talking specifically today about cheating OCD, but it really doesn't matter on the type. Any type of OCD can give you this kind of situation. So it's just going through it every day. You have to think of yourself like a soldier going off to war, okay? You are in a battle. And now, I mean, it sounds kind of like maybe silly to you, but it's really true that you wake up, the rest of your life, take care of it as much as you can, but really focus all of your energy on this OCD stuff because this is critical to the rest of your life. If you don't fix this, everything else, you're not gonna have any energy. You're gonna be tired from overthinking. You're gonna have all of these things that are gonna mess up the rest of your life. To some extent at least, right? So take care of this first. Put yourself first. If you don't put yourself first all the time, at least do it in this situation because honestly, by fixing OCD, you are fixing your relationships, you're fixing your situations all around, and you are making it better for other people to be around you and to rely on you and things like that. Because if you're always worried about OCD stuff, you're not really present and you're not really able to help them because you're all caught up in the OCD, So really devote your time to it. And the only thing you have to do with OCD, it's not like you have to actually do anything special. All you have to do is basically nothing. The only additional thing is with cheating OCD, it's not so relevant, but with other OCD it is if you are avoiding something, don't avoid it anymore. So for example, I'm not gonna go out anymore and drink because I have cheating OCD and I'm worried that if I drink, then something bad is gonna happen. Or I'm not gonna allow my partner to go out without me because I'm afraid that if I'm not there, something is gonna happen. These kind of things are avoidance behavior. They're very common for cheating OCD, but they're not good because if the more you engage in them, the more scary the situation becomes, and the more you are making your mind think that there's something there when there isn't, and your mind in turn is going to send you more of these similar thoughts. So it's like you're creating a bigger problem every time you're avoiding. And then same thing for reassurance. Every time you're seeking reassurance from within yourself, like remembering the situation or trying to come up to a conclusion about the situation, or from others by asking for their advice, or maybe a lot of the time with cheating OCD, there's also a need to confess. So you want to confess the situation to somebody to see what they think about it. All those things are going to lead to more thoughts. So you really have to work on not paying any more attention to it, moving on from the situation. And if it turns out to be true, then it will be true. Then you will deal with it. I'm telling you, in all of my experience of helping people, I have never seen it come true. Never. So you are worrying over nothing. But at the same time, right now, I know you cannot see that. So that's why you have to say to your mind, okay, I'm just moving on. And if it turns out to be true, then I'll deal with it then. Even though it won't, right? But saying it like that and moving on, that's what's going to get you to recovery. And just every moment of every day, powering through. It doesn't matter what the feelings are. It doesn't matter how you feel. If you feel like you're guilty, if you feel like, and also I find that another big thing is when you, especially if you feel like your partner is the one cheating, or about to cheat or cheated in the past, you almost kind of like avoid spending time with them. Like if you're living together, you might be in the same space, but you're kind of staying away from them. You're not as emotional with them. You're not as loving with them. And because you're like, oh, something happened. Or maybe you think something happened on your side and you think that, I feel too guilty being next to them or kissing them or whatever. The more you avoid this, the worse the problem is going to be. So because again, you are by avoiding these things, you are telling your mind that this thought is true, basically. Because why else would you avoid it, right? So that's the thing. So you're confusing your mind more by doing these types of avoidances. So what you want to do is the opposite of that. You want to go hug your partner, kiss your partner, spend time with your partner, and don't worry about what OCD is telling you. And as you go through it that way, you will start to see improvement. So then day after day, improvement after improvement, like feeling better every day, that is your steps to recovery. Because recovery is just where you are right now is point A, and you need to get to recovery, which is point B, full recovery. So, and every day you're taking a step towards it. But every time you do avoidance or reassurance, you're taking a step back. So you need to take much more steps forward than back, and you will see recovery. I mean, I've helped so many people recover. It's not really as hard as you think it is when you start to do the right things. But when you're doing the wrong things, obviously you're going to start to feel worse. So it's just powering over it and not believing it. Because OCD is just basically your mind is just telling you something that's not true. Not on purpose, because your mind believes that it's true because you've taught it that it's true by paying attention to it. Because that part of the mind is reactionary. It sees that you're paying attention to something. Oh, okay, it must be true. You're not paying attention to it. Oh, it must be not true. That's all it understands. So, because it's been taught that it's true, it starts to act as if it's true. Don't believe any of it. I'm telling you. Just keep moving forward and disregarding the thoughts and living your life. Live your life as if you already got over OCD, cheating OCD, or whatever type of OCD you have. Because as you do that, you will feel recovery. You know, you will get to recovery because you're already living it, and you're sending your mind the right signals as you're doing that. That nothing is wrong. I'm fine. There is no need to worry. I'm moving on. That is the only signal you should be sending to your mind, and that's how you get fast recovery. If you sometimes send the signal, sometimes you don't, then the recovery is much slower. But it's just as fast as possible. Just same thing again and again and again, day after day. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. If you have any questions, please let me know. You can let me know, like I said, privately through info@youhaveocd.com, or you can leave me a question in the chat. Just if you do leave me a question, please let me know again if you would like me to discuss it on the show. I would really prefer you let me discuss it on the show because I think it's important for us to share how we're feeling. And, this is completely anonymous. I'm not going to say your name or, details of your situation or anything like that. So your privacy is very much honored and my first priority. But generally, it's good for people to hear these questions because I can't come up with, every kind of question you can possibly have. So it's very good for you to be able to share that you're experiencing this and another person is experiencing the same thing, and they see that, oh, this is just regular, I guess, there's nothing here, and it makes people feel better overall. So if you would like to have a private session with me or start the private recovery program for your type of OCD, you can go to youhaveocd.com and click on the recovery program there. I also have ebooks for sale. I also have some free information on there as well. So please check it out. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.